Testing, testing, testing. This thing on? Hey, what up YouTube? It's your boy Penny LS1 checking in. So I keep getting a bunch of questions which I really appreciate in concern or in regards to the air conditioning. I know I made a few videos, a bunch of different subjects in each video. I've got the system completed, so I figure I can kind of go over everything in detail in one video to help y'all out. So what we're looking at is a 1986 SS Monte Carlo, as y'all say, or Monte Carlo SS, aka Super Sport. Pretty much any G-body, pretty much the systems are pretty much all the same. So I would suggest when you buy a vehicle like this, any old school vehicle, before you go snatching out the original air conditioning box, unless you're planning on making this car a race car, don't touch it. See if it works before you snatch it out. Like I said, unless your intentions is to make it a full-blown race car with no AC, no heat, if the car came equipped with heat from the factory, it worked. So unless there's holes in it, the flaps don't work, the vacuum lines, whatever, check it, make sure it functions properly. The air conditioning is just putting refrigerant in the system. But as long as the box works, all the switches and everything work, you probably can get it to work. So there's no need to just snatch it out right away and go with Dakota, look at me, Dakota, Vintage Air. There's no need for it. I'm just being honest. Because I got mine working with the original setup with my LS Swap with electric fans. The whole point is, yes, you can do Vintage Air, but if you have your original system, you don't have to. Like I said, unless you're going for a race car, leave that stock system in there, or unless something's wrong with it, or if you just want the look of the Vintage Air, meaning the firewall, the way the firewall looks a little bit cleaner. I personally like the original AC box. That's why I never took it out. So let's go ahead and dive into it, because I keep getting a lot of people asking me what lines I use, how did I get it to work, this, that, and the other. Like I said, I got everything functioning properly. The coldest I've got it was 39 degrees. And just today I took it out, it was about 49 degrees, and it's all going to be dependent upon the ambient temperature in the air. But if you're like right now, we're sitting at, let me get the thermometer. Right now in my garage, you can see right here, this is what we're looking at as temps. This is in Arlington, Mansfield area of Texas. For those of you who are not familiar with the area, we're in Dallas-Fort Worth area, just down the street from Texas, or the Dallas Cowboys, excuse me, I was about to say Texas Stadium, the AT&T Stadium where the Dallas Cowboys play. I'm not too far from that. So that's the current temperature. So riding this morning when I went out to get donuts, AC blowing in the car, it was putting out 47 degrees coming out of the vent. So call it what you want, but that's not too shabby. So let me jump over here. First we'll start under the hood, and then we'll jump inside the car, and I'll touch on a few things. But most of everything you're gonna need to know is under the hood. So let me pop the hood, and we'll go from there. All right, so we got the hood open, and just to clarify again for those of you who are new to the channel, this is a 1986 Chevrolet Monte Carlo Super Sport Coupe, not a T-top, not a what do you call them other ones? Well, they didn't make them in '86, but the fastback, or the I forgot what they call them, the Aero Coupe. Y'all know what I meant. So 86 Monte Carlo SS, LS Swap, 5.7 liter LS1 4060E combo, pulled from a 2002 Camaro SS. This particular setup did come with the LS6 intake, and it's got the stock 241 heads. So that's the engine. Brake setup I have is a Wilwood master cylinder. This is the GM angle style master cylinder, and I'm running a Bosch iBooster brake booster, which is an electromechanical brake booster, so no vacuum needed for that. That also helps with my setup because I don't have to worry about vacuum for my brakes. It's electronic, and you know, still uses fluid, but the actual boost part is electronic versus vacuum. And I'm running a Griffin radiator, and I've been meaning to ask y'all, because I know I've heard a bunch of guys on YouTube, I guess they're in the race world, but I've heard a lot of bad things about these radiators, and I haven't had any issues with mine. I'm assuming it's because they're racing, maybe, I don't know, y'all let me know. So this is a Griffin radiator. Don't get me on the specs, but it's an LS Swap radiator, so it's got the fittings and everything on the passenger side. So we got upper and lower radiator hose on the passenger side, as well as the steam port, and then on the driver's side actually has the the transmission cooler lines. You can see right here, and then there's one at the bottom. Running dual fans. This came as a kit. Dual spall fans, yada yada yada. All right, down to the nitty gritty. So as you can see, AC lines coming right here. So that condenser that's behind there, the condenser along with everything else under the hood for the lines, 1986 Oldsmobile Cutlass Supreme. That's what I use. It could be for a saloon, all those other cutlasses. Go to rockauto.com, rockauto.com. Type in 1986 Cutlass Supreme. Choose the 5.0 engine, because I think they got like a 3.8 or 3. And a 4.5 or 4.6, whatever the V6 engine was. Choose the 5.0, and then go to your air conditioning section. You'll find that condenser. So Cutlass Supreme condenser. These lines right here, which are the big line. This is the big 10 line, and the part that actually connects to the back of the compressor. It comes with two. You got your high side. I got something on there. That is also from the 86 Cutlass Supreme. So while you're in that section, go ahead and pick this up straight from Rock Auto. Like I say, you may can get this local at your local parts store. You may not. So, but I'm not giving you part numbers. I'm telling you what vehicle. 1986 Cutlass Supreme condenser. The lines that go to the back of the compressor, which is, I believe that's called the manifold part right here. And the only line that you cannot get, at least that I couldn't find, was this one right here. The one that connects to the evaporator, and then it goes to the bottom on the condenser. That's the liquid line. It's the size 6. I couldn't find it. Now if you got a donor vehicle, keep that line. If you got the Cutlass donor vehicle, keep that line, because the Monte Carlo line goes all the way across the fan shroud and over to the other side. Unless you have the tools, you can cut. I mean, you got to make this line anyway, but I think you can probably modify the original line. You'll have to have the tools in the right fittings. But I'm giving you exactly what I did. So if you're going to have to make this 6 line, it's a number 6 line. You can get that hose from any air conditioning shop. I bought the vintage air kit just to use the hoses, so I didn't end up using most of the fittings. So the trick is coming off the condenser, or the evaporator. So this is a 6 line. You would assume this nut is a 6. It's not, because I had a 6 adapter, or this fitting. I had a size 6, but it was 6 line, 6 nut, and it was too small to fit on here. So I had to order a separate fitting. This fitting is a size. This nut is 8. It's a size 8 nut, and this is a 6 line. So I had to crimp this onto this 6 hose. I'll get to that in a minute, the switch right there. And then on this end, it's the same thing, except on this end, I had to crimp it as well, but this is actually a 6. So this end was okay. So I just took a regular standard 6 fitting to a 6 hose, crimped that. But this side right here is a little bit bigger, so it's an 8. This nut is an 8. You can Google it. You can Google what they call these hoses. I'll put it up on the screen because I can't the verbiage I can't get. But you'll type in number 8 nut to number 6 hose, and then it should pop up this fitting. And mine I end up getting it from eBay. So that's that. So you're gonna have to buy the crimp tool if you need to do this. I'm in the process of considering putting together a kit. Y'all be patient with me, okay? I got my buddy down the street. He's getting ready to do his AC, and we're gonna get his set up just like mine. And we're more than likely gonna have to make this line. So other than, like, say, you can buy this off the shelf. This wasn't that expensive, but most of y'all are gonna need this line. Okay. Now, if you're running it for your stock setup, that's all you're gonna need. If you're running an LS, well, let me take that back. Stock setup, that's all you need, unless you're running fans. If you're still got your stock 305 and with the clutch fan, that's all you're gonna need to get your AC running. If you got a swap vehicle, a swap, LS swap, or if you've put electric fans on your small block Chevy, then you're gonna need some additional stuff. And this is where the wiring kind of gets into very much detail as far as how to get everything working properly with your swap, with your electric fans. There's many ways to do this. I've said this in my last video. There's many ways to do this. Me personally, I want it to work the way it's designed to work, so that you have functioning fans with the protection that you would have had from the factory if you had electric fans. What I mean by that, everybody's familiar with this switch right here. This is your low side pressure switch. And this system was converted obviously to 134A. That doesn't seem like it's on there all the way. No, it's fine. So this is your low side pressure switch. The purpose of this switch, power comes in when you turn the air conditioning on. That power goes through this connector first, touches one side on the switch, and unless this switch gets the proper pressure, it's not going to connect the other side. Therefore, no power will come out. Why does it do that? Well, if the system is too low, it's not going to allow the power to travel to the compressor. So that way you're not running your compressor with low freon in the system. So that's what that's for. It'll kick on, I believe, at as low as 30 psi. So if it's getting 30 psi pressure inside your system, that switch is going to close and it's going to send that power to the compressor, which is what this green wire is, going to the compressor. Now, as you see, I have this in between. See that right here? That green wire is actually going into here and then out into the compressor. The purpose of this switch, this one's a trinary switch. That other one's a binary switch. The other one, the binary switch is on the low side. The trinary switch is on the high side. So therefore, you have high side protection as well as low side protection. Why do you need high side protection? Based on my research, all the information that I've gathered, your system could actually overpressurize. If it does that, this switch is designed to shut the system off, or to shut the compressor off if it reaches 400, I believe it's 405. Let me see, I got a spare switch right here. I actually bought a second one. I'm gonna show y'all. See, I don't think I'm just shooting shit out my ass. Where that dang on switch go? Hold on, give me a second. All right, so here's the switch right here. This is the exact same one that's on the car. I had a spare one. So I'm trying to get it in close enough so y'all can see. So this switch has got two circuits on it. It's got a fan circuit and then it's got the clutch circuit. So if you can see that, it says fan on at 245 psi. And then it says high and low. The low is 30 psi, and that's for compressor. If you can see it, I'm trying to get it out of the glare. You see that 406 psi? That's the high. If it ever gets that high, it'll open the circuit, therefore cutting power to the compressor, therefore shutting it off. Okay, so the binary switch will still have power going to it, but if the high side gets high, it'll shut it off on the high side, and vice versa. The other one will do the same thing. But that's what this is for, so that way you have protection on both sides, not just on your low side. Argue with somebody else, almost every car has two switches. So, but also the reason I put that switch on there is for the functionality of the fans, which, I'll be honest with you guys, I'm being transparent, it's not working, okay? Because as you saw on that switch, it said 245 psi. That is the pressure in which this blue side right here will close, complete the circuit, and send that signal to the fan controller. It's not sending a signal. And I tested it with my multimeter, because I can unplug this right now and the system has pressure in it. Matter of fact, I'm gonna do that. So if I pull this off right here, see those two prongs? Okay, there's no power going to it obviously because the power is on that connector, but this switch is controlled by pressure. So if I put my multimeter on these, you're gonna get some you'll get continuity, basically what I'm saying, from one side to the other, because inside it's an open switch, but when the pressure hits it, the switch closes and then you get continuity. This does the same thing. So this one's getting pressure, this one here, I'm sorry, this one's getting pressure for the clutch, but this side right here for the blue wires for the fan, it's not getting 245 psi. So this circuit is open, but I had to rig it so that my fans can come on. So I'll do the test later, but take my word for it. If the switch doesn't get the right pressure, it's not going to send out the signal. So bottom line, you can run it with just the binary switch, because that's how I had it hooked up before. If y'all saw when I first got the air conditioning running, all I was running was the binary switch. So for those of you who are not going to use the trinary switch, let's just take that out of the equation, okay? So technically all you need is this switch to get it to function. So how does this work? Inside the car you have your air conditioning controls. When you switch that panel to AC max, AC normal, bi-level, or I think defrost, any of those modes will send 12 volts to this wire right here. This wire is connected to the back of the, see how it's coming out of this harness right here? It's coming out of the harness that's coming, this right here, that's coming from inside the car. This light green wire. As soon as you put it in the AC, any of the AC modes or defrost, this wire gets 12 volts. Now you see in this connector, it's got 2 light green wires. So that light green wire is coming in, it's touching the connector, and then it's going out. So these are on the same side of that connector. So it's getting 12 volts as soon as the switch turns on. The dark green wire is on the opposite side of the connector. So what that means is when the power comes in, like I said earlier, it's going to hit one side of the connector and not the other side unless this switch is getting the proper pressure, which on the low side is 30 psi. So as soon as it recognizes that it's got 30 psi, it's going to send a signal to this dark green wire. That's the wire that I have running through this little mess, but it's coming all the way over here to the compressor switch. I mean to the compressor connected right here. Compressor. So that's the dark green wire. The light green wire itself, the one that comes out, it's hot as soon as you turn the switch on. That wire I have going to my AC recognition wire. That's what it's called. That's coming off my computer. I have a stock computer that I bought with my harness as a package from PSI Conversions. When you order your harness, whether you have AC right now or not, I advise you, whenever you order your harness from whomever you order it from, see if they have an option for air conditioning. If not, you're going to have to pin it yourself. So when I ordered my harness and computer, I said, yes, I do want AC. So they pinned, and I don't know the pin number, but what I'm telling you is they already have it set. They have the wire coming off the harness, the plug that goes into the back to the computer. They have a single wire labeled AC recognition. That's from PSI. It may be labeled different from other companies, but in essence what it is, it's a 12 volt signal wire. So this light green wire that comes in is getting 12 volts in, it's getting 12 volts out. I ran the out wire to that white wire on the harness coming off the computer. What that's going to do is, first of all, tell your computer that the air conditioning has been turned on, and then it's going to let the computer know to bump up the RPMs. And it works because when I turn my air on, you can see I have the digital tac meter in there because I've got the decoder, so I can have digital and analog. You see it drop immediately. My car idles at about 760 when it warms up. When I turn the AC on, you see it drop to like 590, and then it bumps right back up to like 740, 750. That's because the computer knows that the AC's been turned on, the engine gets a higher load, and the RPMs tend to drop. But then the computer says, "Oh, let's add some more revolutions to it so it can maintain the smooth idle." That's what that white wire, my wire in my case is white coming off my computer harness. That's what I have this light green wire running to. You can run it just like that without using a trinary switch if you have a fan controller, because the fan controller is going to tell the fans to kick on same way it's telling the computer that the AC is on. So you would just have to run this light green wire. You can just run it to the white wire on your computer, and at the same time tap into that and run it to your fan controller box. That's how I had it initially. I don't have it like that now because I'm using this trinary switch. So in short, all you need, if you run the LS Swap in the Monte Carlo or any GBody, and if you want everything on this side, that was the main purpose of this video. So you've got your air compressor, AC compressor on the passenger side. I skipped over the brackets, but you can use any brackets. My setup is all Holley. This is the Holley high mount. So my brackets on both sides are Holley high mount. So you can use any bracket, whether it be ICT billet or whatever else is out there, as long as you have the right bracket for your setup. If you put it on this side, these lines will work. You need that condenser. So 1986 Cutlass Supreme condenser, main lines that come off the compressor, and the 6 line, if you can find that number 6 line for Cutlass, it'll work. More than likely you're gonna have to make it. And I didn't mention the compressor, but the compressor is basically a stock pancake compressor, and they do make these with the V-belt as well as the 6-rib serpentine. So when you're ordering this, because I know you guys are going to ask me for the part number, I bought this from Summit. But what I did was, when I bought this bracket, Holley actually has in their manual what part number to use. You can buy the Holley one, and then in their manual they give you the alternative GM or AC Delco part. and this one was about $150 cheaper than the Holley one. That's why I bought it, and it was local at, I mean, I'm close to Summit Racing, so I just went up there and picked it up. But just be sure you get the one with the 6-rib pulley for the serpentine, because the original one, as you know, is a V-belt. So it's not going to work if you're running the LS. So keep that in mind. So everything is from the Cutlass, with the exception, obviously, of the radiator, these brackets. But you should probably already have that set up if you're looking at hooking up your air conditioning in your swap vehicle. So let's go inside the car. I'm not gonna, because my fan controller is under the seat, and I've done 2 videos on that fan controller, so go check those videos out. So I'm not gonna take the seat out to show y'all those wires in depth, but I'm gonna go in here and show you the controls, and I'm gonna show you, because my fans, as it's set up now, the fan does not kick on when I turn the AC on unless the engine is up. I mean, obviously if the engine's up to temp, the fan's going to be on. But my point is, if it's cold or if it's first thing in the morning, the car hasn't been started, so when I start it up, if I turn the AC on immediately, right now the fans won't kick on, because I'm trying to figure out why I'm not getting enough PSI on this side for this switch to trigger it. So, but let me go inside. I'll start the car. Well, first I'll turn it on and show you how the switches, how you should have your switches set. All right, so we're inside the car. So I put this thermometer in there just so you can see that's what it is currently, the ambient temperature. So I do have functioning air conditioning and heat. Obviously heat is much simpler than the AC, but I did put a new heater core as well as a AC evaporator core. So we're at about 87 degrees in this garage right now, or the car inside the vent. So I'm gonna go ahead and just turn the switch on, get power to the vehicle. So first thing, just to show you, on low it doesn't seem to blow. You can't really hear it, so I'll put it on like medium high. So it's off right now. I'm gonna put it in the hot position, and then we'll just turn it on. I'm gonna put it over to vent. So you heard that click, but that's because I had to skip past these modes. Is what's going to trigger the compressor, so it clicked. So I'm over here on heat basically, and you can already see that it's blowing the temp. It's blowing the heat from the coolant that's in the heater core. So currently blowing about 89 degrees. So that's just I just wanted y'all to see that. Okay, and then if you put it on heater pushes it up through the vents, and then defrost is actually, the AC clutch will kick on defrost as well, as you heard it click. So if I turn it back to AC, I don't know if the temp will drop. Let's see, because it should close that flap. Actually, I gotta close this. Then it'll close that flap, and so now it shouldn't be blowing the air from the heater core. It should just be blowing through the evaporator core, which should put it back down to the ambient temp. So as you can see, it's dropping back down to where it was when I first turned you guys back on. So if you've got your switch functioning properly, that's how it should work as far as blocking off the heater core. Now it's kind of holding at 89. Now it's going down a little bit. It'll get back to 88. Yeah, it's about to hit 88 right. 5, 4, 3. There it is. So, but that has to do with this selector switch right here. There's a cable connected to this, so this is not vacuum driven. These modes are vacuum driven. This is just hot cold, that door that's inside the box under the hood. It's got a cable connected to the back of this that's pulling the door flap. See, it's already back down to 87. So turn it off. Let's go ahead and start it up. You should be able to hear me okay, because yeah, the microphone is on my chest. So let me give it a start up and see what we got. Now for some reason I've got to prime mine a couple of times. I may need to check my fuel pump to see, because it'll start but it'll kind of lag if I don't prime it a couple of times. Alright, so I'm gonna let it idle down. And then let me wait till I idle down. Okay, so the reason I wanted it to idle down is because I want you to be able to see the change in the idle when I turn the air on. So right now we're running 157 on the water temp, so my fans are not going to cut on, like I said earlier, because something either is wrong with the switch for the fan side of that switch, on the Trinary switch, or somehow I'm not getting enough pressure on that line to trigger the fans. But I think I changed my fans. Yeah, I did. I changed them to come on at 175, so it'll probably come on here in a second. But look at the idle. It's between 780 and 800, and it's varying down to like 760, I believe. So I'm gonna turn the air on. So it's on medium high fan. I'm gonna just put it on AC max and watch the idle and watch how it changes. Y'all see that? I think it went down to like 5 something. Let me do it again. But you can hear it too. You can hear the car. So let me click it. It's off now. I'm gonna click it back on AC max. Yeah, it dropped to like 620 because it's at 800 right now. But what it does is it puts it back up. So now let me put y'all back over here to this thermostat or thermometer. What was it on? 80 something? Look at that. It's already at 70. And the fan just kicked on because the temp's up to temp. And I'm running it on, it's on cold, medium high, and on max. I typically run it at normal. It actually blows a little bit colder at normal and medium high. Look, it already dropped down to 63, 62. So that's just to show y'all that the AC does work. I was gonna put some tape up here, but obviously you get the picture. Let me see, I got something right here. No, it's not sticky enough. No, let me get some tape. All right, so I went ahead and put some tape on there so I can see it. But look at the temp. We're down to 58, and we got air blowing out of that vent over there, and the driver vent. It's slight, but you can see it moving, and it's not even on high. So I just kicked it up to high speed, and you can see it moving. But like I say, it'll probably get too cold in here on high speed if I was going somewhere, so I like to keep it on medium high. So let's try this tack again. I'm gonna turn it off. You see the RPM? You turn it on. You see that? It went to 590 and it came back up. So that means the trigger wire is working like it should. So that's just a quick synopsis on, for some reason it's not blurring. Oh, there you go. Hold on, y'all. Oh, okay. I don't know what's going on. It wasn't blowing for a second, but it's down to 57. Oh, I see what it's doing. It's 56. It's getting cold. I had got it down to 47 when I went out this morning. So I say all that just to say you can get your stock AC working. You don't need to get an aftermarket unit unless you have issues with your wiring and you don't know how to fix it, or you got an issue with your AC box, the whole HVAC box, because there is a lot of moving parts. Let me go ahead and turn this off. There are a lot of moving parts to this system. So if you're not familiar with it, which most of you guys aren't, but yeah, like I said though, but there is a lot of moving parts to this system. So hit me up on IG if you have any questions. Just send me a DM at PennyLS1 on Instagram. I'll help you out as best I can. The only thing I didn't cover in this video is the vacuum system. I already went over that in another video, so I'll put a link down in the descriptions to all the videos that I did with this air conditioning system. I did go over the vacuum system because you have to have that vacuum line hooked up in order for your different settings on your switch. Otherwise, the doors, they won't open and close to shut off the heat or air from either the vents or the defrost or the floor. So you definitely need to get that. So like I said, I've already done a video on that, so check those videos out below. Like I said, if you have any questions, go ahead and hit me up on Instagram at PennyLS1. Thank you for rocking with your boy. If you haven't already, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Click that notification bell so you'll be notified when I'm dropping the next video. And until next time, I'm finna go for a ride. PennyLS1, holla at your boy.